Welcome to my channel. This is my review of Star Trek Lower Decks, Season 1, Episode 8, Veritas. We have our usual cast of main players here: Brad Boimler, Divan Attendee, Beckett Mariner, and Sam Rutherford. Our top brass includes Captain Carol Freeman, Commander Jack Ransom, Lieutenant Commander Shax, and Lieutenant Commander Dr. T'Ana. Our episode summary today goes thusly. Our intrepid lower deckers are brought in to speak the truth on the command staff in what seems to be a black operation that they were all involved in. We open to the Cerritos in orbit of Ketuvan Prime before we cut to our intrepid lower deckers being thrown into a dungeon and not knowing why. After a brief freakout by both Boimler and Tendi, Rutherford points out that he saw the senior staff being taken into another room when the dungeon starts to vibrate and the floor elevates, taking them upwards. Similar effect to Gandalf being sent skyward at Orthanc in Lord of the Rings, but not quite as cool. We return from the titles to see the squad lifted into a courtroom to the pounding sounds of tribal drums. Rutherford pointing out that the senior staff are being suspended in a beam, and they're all posing, chest out, even our boy Billups. Mariner reasons they must be on trial. Boymes agrees but doesn't know why. Their panicked musings broken by the skull gavel and a one-eyed alien calling everybody to order. The effect of the gavel being impacting on the table there is a very similar effect to the Klingon glove gavel from Undiscovered Country, but nowhere near as cool. The Klingon one had this like clawed metal gavel holding like a orb that looked like it was probably supposed to be in the shape of Kronos, and just smashing that in there, and just this beautiful, overly designed thing, but nowhere near as cool. But this little skull gavel is, it's okay. The alien explains that they are here to speak the truth about the senior staff, and as they panic to each other, the alien cuts them off, ordering that they speak only into the Horn of Kandor. And it is a nice looking horn, but it seems a bit overdone and a bit redundant. Mariner is first up, and this episode will mostly be told in flashback. She is asked about the encounter with the Killit ship, the Quirk, on stardate 57818.4. They could have just used the Xindi insectoids instead of making a whole new alien, but who am I to really judge here? I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't use the insectoids if they're going to have an insect ship, but, is what it is. We cut to the lower decks, working on their shuttle hot rod. They are shooting the breeze about who's the biggest badass, and Boymes chooses Roga Dana. Not a bad choice. All the badass of Khan and none of the megalomania. But Mariner disagrees and chooses Khan because she doesn't know who Dana is. Here's a bit of a deep dive, but not that much if you've watched TNG. Tendi is on Team Khan too and wants to talk about Khan's thick chest, but she has to go pee. I don't know why she's so anti-Dana. Mariner, seriously, if you ever watched that episode, dude's a badass. But her exasperation is quite funny. Tendi rushes back in, telling the squad that the ship is on red alert everywhere but where they are. Rutherford admits to adjusting the volume up, but the others are justifiably upset with him for messing with the red alert klaxon, especially when both Mariner and Boimler have bridge duty today. That's bad luck right there. Mariner, though, as always, has a cunning plan. A plan so cunning it could teach cunning at Oxford University. They fake that they were there the whole time. Genius. Pure As they arrive, the captain is beamed back because of a cultural snafu. As the dynamic duo sneak into their seats, the captain asks them for options. That is just their luck. Mariner, ever prepared, tells the captain she knows exactly what to do, and the captain agrees. Excellent deflection by Mariner. Everything takes a turn from there, as Boymes is wont to do, makes a hash of it, and Mariner fires on the ship because of a miscommunication between her and the captain. Oops. We return to the courtroom as the one-eyed alien cannot believe that the captain has no idea what goes on their ship. Sad but true, even in the future. The prosecutor believes that she is lying and throws her into the tank of contempt. And it looks nasty. There's like dingy swamp water and eels in there. Nasty. But just as she's about to get dumped in and dipped, Boimler rushes in for the save. Boymes is getting the MVP early today, I can see that. Rutherford is up next. He wants to know about stardate 57791.1. And after bragging about his implant giving him perfect recall, the date in question he's very leery about. And this is why you shouldn't brag. We flash back to Rutherford rotating EPS capacitors to prevent overheating. And I'm considering that for some reason they don't have some means of doing that automatically. He is interrupted mid-work song by both Billups and Shaps. Billups and Shax, our golden duo. They need Rutherford's special skills, namely his implant, because they need a Romulan flight manuals and repair information. And that's not suspicious at all. To do that, though, he informs them he needs to update his implant. But he prefers to do that while asleep. But before he could finish in telling them why, they force him to install it, not caring about the consequences. And they must be in a real rush because usually they are so chill. As they start to explain why this mission is important, his implant shuts him down. Also, I would like to never see Denobulan flesh eating viruses eating a pea. And I don't even know where a person would go to see that, but Billups, I think you need therapy, my man. Rutherford wakes back up to a Romulan shuttle surrounded by unconscious and stripped to their skivvies Vulcans. Sounds like a fun stag weekend, doesn't it? He's a bit groggy, but as the update is still ongoing, but Shax congratulates him on taking them all out. Impressive, given what we all know about Vulcans. They are dressed in Vulcan robes, and he tries to explain about the implant and how it's shutting him down, but Shax tosses him out of the shuttle as his update knocks him out again. Shax, my man, you're better than that. Come on, dude, listen. He comes to again under a Romulan warbird, similar to the TOS example from the Enterprise episodes The Balance of Terror and the Enterprise Incident, though the Enterprise Incident one is I think it's an update in the CGI one, with Shax crawling up one of the display's legs. How no one has seen them, because he is not a small man, shimmying up that thing, I'll never know. But somebody does see them, a security officer in TOS movie era American football style uniform and armor. And Rutherford uses Uhura's fan dance to distract them, and surprisingly it works. But for a time anyway, but as it fails, and the guard's about to shoot him, his implant shuts him down again. We return to Rutherford standing in space. An impossibility, I grant you, but it turns out he's actually standing on the fluctuating cloak of the Romulan bird of prey. He panics as he sees Billups unconscious talking gibberish. It's like a regular Friday or Saturday morning for most students at uni, really. He only has 60 seconds of air, and Rutherford and his implant is warning him of another update. As the bird of prey recloaks, they barely make it back to the shuttle, but he can't hear Shax's warning before his implant updates and he gets knocked out, which forces him to lie flat onto the main navigational computer. And I'm also wondering why they would need Klingon fonts, and the ship blasts away at warp speed. He comes to again in front of the crashed shuttle at a Gorn wedding, and it seems that he is now the main course. He tries to force his implant to update just as they dogpile him, hoping for a miracle save. Miracle denied. They're still trying to feast on him as he comes to, and I have no idea how he's getting out of that. But just as he's about to explain the story, the prosecutor interrupts him. Boo! He demands to know the details of the bird of prey theft, but he can't, as Rutherford can't tell him, and the prosecutor won't stop interrogating him. Seriously, how can you make him listen when the man won't stop talking? As Boimler muses on the why they would need a Romulan bird of prey, Tendi acts very suspiciously, before she is then called to testify, and Rutherford is moved over the eel tank. Tendi is trying to be very much less conspicuous here. The prosecutor sends Rutherford to the eel tank, yes, just like Mariner. It's Tendi's turn, and we see her in Starfleet stealth scuba suits with Ransom and a crew of muscle men. Mine's out of the gutter. But even with her enthusiasm, she can't tell him because it's classified. Dun dun dun. But as she's about to join the eels, Boim steps up and convinces her to talk. Boim's being the hero. He's really stepping up, boys and girls. He really is. She starts with an important assignment, and she's super hyped for. She's cleaning the conference room, and I applaud her enthusiasm. Mariner, in the flashback, groans, pointing out that she's just going to be cleaning out cat fur from the chairs, but our girl refuses the obviously jealous vibes of young Mariner. Though I'm sure that's just Tendi's story, Mariner, and not the real Mariner being actually jealous, because we've seen her do this duty before and didn't take it seriously. She starts with a lint roller and cleaning cat hair, as predicted, when the door bursts open and in walks Ransom and an eye-blacked squad of what looks like Starfleet Wetworks team. We have 2 humans and an Andorian. And Liefeld will be very proud. There are pouches everywhere. The prosecutor interrupts, upset that she's omitting the names, but they are classified. She even holds, even when she's being threatened by the eels, she's still like, look, I can't tell you, they're classified. Like in her moxie in this one. Another miscommunique happens as Ransom assumes that she is the agent cleaner, which she misunderstands as well to be cleaning the office. She zones out as Ransom's explaining what's going on, which I think is a regular problem with Ransom. People tend to tune him out because he's so into himself. And she snaps back as the entire crew, including Ransom, reveals they all have Starfleet Black Ops Next tattoos. So Starfleet Spec Ops here confirmed. Ransom reveals that the map from Mariner's account, and they are going to be breaching the neutral zone for a package that is highly guarded. That is the second worst mission briefing I've ever seen. They have a static 2-dimensional map that looks like a board game. They have one icon over Romulus, and then they have 3 other icons over 3 other planets before Romulus. Those aren't fleet markers. Those aren't fleet number markers. They are just little icons saying that, look, there are going to be ships here and here and here. There is no specifics. Now, while I can understand that happens in some Black Ops missions, and I can understand that it could happen with this because the Romulans have a lot of cloaked ships and they move their ships a lot, I would think that a Starfleet Black Ops squad would have at least some details of ship movements before doing a mission to the Romulan home world. The team gets super hype and toss her a phaser rifle. And then she knows she's effed up, but her shyness is going to get her in trouble because she cannot physically usher up the guts to tell them that this has all been a mistake. We cut to the bird of prey from Rutherford's account. As it cloaks, she tries then to explain that there's been a mistake, but keeps getting interrupted by the Andorian of the troop, who is at the main sensors, who is screaming every few seconds that the Romulan Pterodactyls are scanning for them. We cut to an excellent shot of the bird of prey as it is sailing under a Pterodax warbird, and they're using the classic TOS animated series cloak effect on a TOS ship. I quite like that. And every time they cut to an external shot, we see more warbirds. And I share her annoyance at this bit. I was a bit like, oh god, no. No, it was funny once, it was funny twice, but after that, I was like, oh yes, amusing, yes. We cut to Romulus as the bird of prey decloaks. Now we know what type of operation this is. Super sus, super dangerous. We cut to the Black Ops squad, all in their TNG stealth suits. Not conspicuous at all, on all black suit on a planet that's buildings are mainly purple, blue, grey, or in some of the civilian sectors, red or browny red. They beam down again, and she's trying to explain, but then gives up completely. They take out 2 guards, talking about Remans, and they leave Tendi to cover their 6. My God, have mercy on her. There are several explosions behind the blocked off door, and the Black Ops squads return with the package, telling her to do her thing. And she kicks frickin' ass. Apparently she was just there to beam them out, but she is going ham on some Romulan guards. It was nice of them to tell her that she was just supposed to be the beam out person, but there you go. As they leave with the package in the conference room, Tendi gets back to cleaning. And we find out where Billups sits in the conference room. The prosecutor gets upset, and when he demands her testimony, she demands that she be more clear, but she can't. She gets sent along to be hovering above the eels as well. And he even activates the burners for added spice before dumping Mariner, Rutherford, and Tendi in. But I really don't know why he would turn the boilers on. That's just boiling the eels. Are they going to make them eat boiled eel? Ugh. Boimler steps up again and tells the truth. They don't know anything, despite what the prosecutor thinks. They are lower decks. They don't see the full picture ever. True. They get affected by it a lot, but they don't ever see it. And then he explains how Starfleet officers aren't perfect, they're just people. He gives a good speech, and he's dropping a lot of truth bombs here. But as always, they crap on lower decks, especially on Boimlers. And our boy Boim's here. This wasn't a trial at all, but a party. He was kidnapped by the Romulans and held for over a year before being rescued. And you have to ask why they would take him, and everything here looks like an alien trial. So the first question is, why did the Romulans take you? Second question is, why did you set everything up to look like a trial? And Rutherford points this out, and I'm like, yes, why would you make this look like a trial? He's the supreme magistrate. And despite this reasonable observation here, the assumption that this is a trial because everything looks like a trial, it is not actually a trial. This is a party. It just looked like a trial. Freeman gets them out before Mariner goes nuke on the idiot for dumping them in eels. I am right there with her. Just make him eat the eels. It is disgusting. And then we cut back to the Cerritos leaving orbit and the captain giving them a dressing down, but she applauds them and promises to try and be a bit more clear, which she immediately reneges on when they want to know about mission details. And as they leave, Q arrives, but at this point Mariner and the squad tell him to kiss off as they are absolutely done with alien shenanigans today. And I cannot say that I blame them. So my star review for season 1, episode 8, Veritas, is 3.5 stars. I really enjoyed this one. It was a good premise. Everything until about just at the end, when they said, "Oh, this isn't a trial at all. This is in fact a party." But that made no sense because all the cues we see, all the cues they see, say that this is a trial. They are on trial and are providing evidence for the crew that are suspended in the beam, but apparently that is the Great Honor beam or some such. And Billups even makes a comment of being very proud to be in the beam, which they all tell him to shut up. And I absolutely agree. Everything in this episode was a trial except for the end. Bit annoying, but that knocked it down for me. Overall, storytelling was fun. I like Rutherford's miraculous implant coming back into play. I hope they do more with this because I quite enjoy that whole concept of, well, he's a recent cyborg and there's some side effects going on here. And I like seeing more of that happen. That was fun. That was very fun. So yes, 4.5 stars. No, sorry, 3.5 stars. Yeah, 3.5 stars. For making it this far in the video, I want to thank you. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to try and help me with the great demon that is the algorithm. And I hope you enjoyed today's review. It's a very good episode. And I will catch you guys somewhere down that road. Have a good day.